Hello and welcome to Phyre's LEGO Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at the Creator Expert Bookshop set number 10270. It has 2,504 pieces. It is part of the Modular Buildings series that get released annually. This is the 15th one, and these are some of my favorite sets to build, so I'm really looking forward to this one. The back of the box shows some scenes, some details on the inside of the buildings. Over here you can see the different levels and how they can be removed. On the bottom here, as is typical with the modular buildings, it shows the one that is in this set displayed next to the other two previous ones that preceded the current one. The top of the box shows the full assortment of pieces that are in the set, as well as a picture of one of the minifigures that is actual size. In case you've never owned a LEGO minifigure before and didn't know what size they were, this shows what size it is before you open the box. And this end of the box shows some of the minifigures with some of the furniture from inside the buildings. The other two sides of the outside of the box don't really have anything interesting on them. It's pretty much just blank with LEGO logos, and the other side does have a smaller picture of the model, but as you can see, it's front and center on the front. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Alright, so it looks like we've got 8 numbered bags here, an unnumbered bag with some smaller base plates, the 2 larger base plates, which were loose in the box, and then, of course, our instruction manuals, which it appears there are 2 of them. And here's the 2 instruction manuals. So it looks like that each instruction manual is going to build half of the set. So this is going to be the first 4 bags, and it's going to build the actual bookshop on the left. And the second instruction manual is going to take the other 4 bags and build the building on the right, which I think is like an apartment or something. So this is something we haven't seen in modulars since the pet shop, where it wasn't all constructed on one square base plate. We've got 2 rectangular base plates that are going to connect. And so 2 separate buildings. So if you had somebody that you want to build this together with, one of you could, each of you could work on a separate half of the model independently and then put them together at the end. Or if you're like me, you just build it on your own and build one at a time, and that's what we're going to do. After the first set of bags, this is what your build will look like. You get your first minifigure of the set in the first set of bags, a little boy with a winter or fall hat and scarf, nice flannel jacket print on the torso. He also has a toy or model airplane that is done really well. I really like the use of the different pieces here to get that detailing, and it really looks really nice for a little toy plane. The building itself, you have part of the first floor of the bookshop build. So there's some nice either tile or carpeting pattern that you lay down with plates. On the bottom here, there's a cash register over here. The start of some bookshelves in the back here. We also have kind of a bookshelf display that is going to be on the outside of the building. Once you build up the walls more, this is actually going to be on the outside. So maybe something for people that are LEGO people that are walking by, and something to entice them to go into the bookshop. We also have the base for the Birch Tree here, using these LEGO hot dog pieces in black for some of the detail here around the base. There's also some leaves that have fallen from the birch tree that are placed on the ground in front, and some nice tile pattern on the outside of the building as you walk in what is going to be the front door. After 2 sets of bags, we have the entire first floor or ground floor. The second set of bags comes with our second minifigure, which is this man who is holding a book. You can see there the front cover says Moby Brick. and a little flower he's also holding. Pretty standard print on the face and torso. He's got a tie and suspenders on the torso. The face is dual-sided. So one side features kind of a smirking smile, and then the other side is more of a big grin. So on the inside of the building, you can see we have books now to populate this bookshelf. In the previous set of bags, only the base of the bookshelf was built, so now we have the upper half with all the books on it. We also have this nice spiral staircase, or at least half of it. I believe we're going to be building the next half of it in the next set of bags. There's also this bookcase over here, which is really nicely done. A lot of detail, some spaces in between the books, which is nice. A lot of different colors for the different books. Just some really nice detail there. And on the outside of the building, we now have a lot of stonework for the details. It says Birch Books up at the top. One of the things I really like about modular buildings is that any details as far as like logos or anything like that are done printed instead of stickers. And personally, I'm not really a fan of stickers, so I really like to see the printed pieces, especially on in more advanced set like the modular buildings are, and even on the book that the minifigure has, that front cover is printed, where some other sets that you might get, even at the 18+ level or the advanced level type sets, might not have printed pieces. They might have stickers that you apply. And personally, I really prefer the printed pieces, so it's nice to see that. One of my favorite details here, I like the the clear green detail above the windows and the door, but I think my favorite detail is the stone work that makes up the arch. That's really nice detail. Only a few pieces, relatively simple build, and you got to make sure that you arrange them the right way. You can see kind of this one over here is a little bit crooked on the right, but I try to get it the best I can, but still it creates a really nice effect, and the way that they're layered and arranged really gives it a really nice detail. All right, the third set of bags builds the second floor of the bookshop. It also builds this landing here for the staircase, and then the stairs continue up from this floor. The outside is pretty basic. There's a little bit of detailing there. The windows look nice, but most of the detail is on the inside. So it's basically, we've got like a sitting room area with an armchair, a rug in front of it, a little end table, a really nice grandfather clock, as well as a lamp. So some really nice furniture in there on this level. And then on the outside, there's a doorway out to a porch on the back side of the building, with some seats and a little table, so the minifigures inside could come out and have lunch or a cup of coffee or something out on the porch here. And then of course it connects to the bottom half, just like all the modulars do. You can remove it really easily because there's just a few connection points there to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, but it's still easy to remove. So the fourth set of bags builds the top floor of the bookshop half. It also features this minifigure. And yeah, some really nice detailing on the outside of the top floor. Really nice designs here. I really like how they did that. Backside's pretty plain. It's just sloped off. But this part comes off. This is all just slopes with some reinforcements there. But on the inside is this really nice bed. Probably one of my favorite Lego beds that have been in sets like these. It just looks really nice. Really realistic, even though it's such a small scale. And then there's also a terrarium for a chameleon in here, which is really neat. It is open on the backside, but this does go up against a wall if it was, fully enclosed in with this. But of course, that doesn't really matter because when this is placed on there, you can't see inside it at all, except maybe a little bit from the windows on the front side. But yeah, and then some nice detailing on the roof here. This is what it looks like completely assembled, and the fourth set of bags also builds this birch tree here, which is really nice. We have a little nest here with a bluebird, leaves with some nice fall colors, and you can see from the beginning of the build that there are some leaves on the ground, so clearly it's autumn here. And turning it around, there's not a whole lot of detail on the back side of these or the sides. There usually isn't, because they're mainly designed to be displayed from the front. We do have this porch on the second floor, but other than that, it's pretty plain. And then of course the sides are even more plain, but they connect to either the other half of this set or other modular buildings you can connect them to. So the sides don't have to really be that interesting. The main focus is what the buildings look like from the front. And in this case, this half of the bookshop, the half that actually contains the bookshop, looks really nice. The fifth set of bags builds the basement section of the other building. It comes with this minifigure, which is very plain, not really that interesting. He's got a red plaid shirt, a common face that I think you see on a lot of minifigures, plain gray legs, gray hair. But the minifigures aren't really the focus of these sets, so let's look at the build here. There's not a lot of detail here in the basement itself. Oops. It's pretty much an empty space. There's no detailing on the ground. It's just the base plate underneath. There are some items in there, including a step ladder, which you can remove and set up outside, a workbench with some scissors, and then this, which is a mouse trap. There's also a small portion of a staircase here. There's more stairs out back, and also a pumpkin patch, which looks really nice. But then the best part of this section is the detail around the front. Of course, we have the lamppost that is standard across all of the modular building sets. And then some plants, flowers around the front, and this angled staircase, which is really a neat design, with these really nice pieces used for decorative handrails. I really like the use of those pieces here. And I really like the overall looks of this on the outside. The sixth set of bags builds the first floor of the second building. It features this minifigure with a torso print with a jacket. I don't recall seeing a print like this in any sets previously. Her face is dual-sided, although it took me a minute to even figure out what the difference was because the expressions are very similar, but on this side the eyebrows are more relaxed, where this side the eyebrows are raised, but other than that I can't really tell any difference with the eyes or the expression on her mouth. But the main point of interest here is the build itself. You can see there's some great detailing on the outside, a nice bay window here with a lot of great detail. The front door here with some lights on the outside, which look really nice. Turn it around, it's not really that interesting on the outside, on the other sides, but again, you're not really going to be seeing these parts when this is being displayed. There's a door in the back here. For the interior of this, we have a lot of great details. Staircase here, a doorway for the stairs at the basement level, so this would take you down to the basement once this is attached. A coat rack here with a hat being hung on it and an umbrella on it. The umbrella is actually loose in there, so it's not actually attached to anything, but they use these pins to actually hold it there. It actually stays in place pretty well. It's not going to just fall off randomly unless you stick this upside down or shake it around a lot, it pretty much stays in there. There's a nice rug in the entryway, a seat in front of the bay window, table and chairs with tea set out and a newspaper, a house plant here in the corner by the stairs, and also a really nice fireplace next to the table. You got a picture on the wall, and a cabinet here with some jars inside, although yeah, it's kind of hard to open the doors once they're closed. There we go. But you can kind of see there's some things inside there, maybe some canned food or jars of food or something. This is probably so far my favorite section of the build. I just love all the details that they threw in this floor, and how neat it looks. I mean, it looks like it could be somebody's actual sitting room basically, and even though it's in Lego form, it's really nice. And here's what it looks like when it's attached to the basement level. You can see still nothing really interesting on the sides, but this is what it looks like from the front when the first floor and the basement are combined. You can see here, if we open this door, if you can see very well the light, but that does lead to the stairs down to the basement. The top floor of the second building is constructed using the 7th and 8th sets of bags. This is what it looks like after the 7th, so you can see it's not fully done. There is some nice detailing on the outside that is built in this section, including around the windows. The house number, which would be above the door once this is connected to the rest of the model. And then inside, we have some great interior details, including a big, probably king-sized bed, and Lego is really knocking it out of the park in this set with beds. We had a smaller bed in the other building, which was really nicely done. This one's probably not as detailed as the other one, although there is some nice detailing here in the what would be the wood design, and it is a lot bigger. It's probably the biggest Lego bed that I've seen or personally built. We also have a nice dresser with a plant and a lamp on it, and this picture on the wall. So some really nice details inside this section. The 8th and final set of bags builds the rest of the top floor of the second building. You can see there's a lot of detail here around the windows, and basically it just finishes off the section that the 7th set of bags built, as well as this final section, which is separate from this and connects to the same level. So when they're combined, they don't attach to each other, but when they're combined and on top of the model, they will look like this, and I'll show you that in a second. But this is just a little back porch here with a doorway and a window. Not really a ton of detail, just a piece to basically finish off the building. And so this is what the entire building looks like with that final floor completed and placed on top. Let's turn it around. You can see the view from the side here, the view from the back. Again, not super interesting at the back and definitely not on the sides, but that is typical of these modular buildings. Most of the detail is focused on the front of the building. And finally, we have the two buildings connected here. So you can see they look really nice together. They really complement each other with the different colors and the design on the outside of them. This set looks really fantastic from the front. This is what they look like from the back when they're connected. Again, not as detailed as the front, but there is some, features that you can see from the back, and it does look nice. Again, those colors do go well together, and the buildings look nice together. Overall, this set is a really nice addition to the modular building series. I know some fans of the line didn't like the last two entries in the series as much, the corner garage and the downtown diner. They felt that they were well, not bad sets or designs by any means. They were more of a modernized American style architecture, whereas this bookshop and the ones that preceded those two models have all stuck with a more European kind of architecture. So it is nice to see them returning to that style of architecture with this set. However, for me personally, um, I would say that this isn't one of my top favorite modular buildings. I do like it better than the other building where it's split into two sections that can separate. That being the pet shop. Definitely, a lot of building techniques and new pieces have been introduced since that time. So it's a nicer looking set in that regard. The pet shop was actually my first ever modular building, so this kind of brings back some memories of building that with the two separate halves. But overall, on the inside with the details and stuff, there's usually some moment or usually multiple moments in building these modular buildings where, something really surprises me or I'm really impressed by a building technique or, how they were able to create a certain piece of furniture or, a certain type of office or something in this scale. And for this set, there wasn't really much of that. It does look great on the outside, but I think the most exciting details for me, aside from the exterior detail, were building the birch tree here and then the two beds that are on the inside. But of course, beds are not unique to Lego sets. There's been several in, for example, the Winter Village sets, the Disney Castle, even the new Winnie the Pooh set has a bed build in it. So definitely not unique, although these two beds were definitely fun to build and interesting to see come together. Another really nice detail that I think I highlighted already, but is the railings for this staircase on the second building. So that's really nice. This set took me just over 5 hours to complete from start to finish. Of course, broken over several days where I would work on one set of bags at a time. And that averages out to about 7.5 seconds per piece, which is a full second below my overall average from the last few years of sets that I've built. And that I think is another reason why it wasn't one of my favorite modular buildings, because it was a little bit quicker, so not as complex or technical of a build, I guess, as some of the other ones. The corner garage and the downtown diner are the ones that I built most recently, and those took, quite a bit more time. I think over an hour more on each of them for pretty similar piece count compared to this. So that's another reason, I like complexity of the builds and stuff. So the fact that this was a little bit less complex also played into it being, not one of my favorites. But it's still definitely a nice addition to the modular series, and I'm looking forward to seeing it with the rest of my modular collection. If I didn't say at the beginning of the video, this set retails for $180 from Lego, plus tax depending on your region. And it is still available now at the time of recording this video, although it's probably going to retire in the next year or two. It's already been out since 2020, so usually the modular buildings only last about 3 years before they're retired. So if you want to pick this up, I would recommend doing it now. Overall, I would give this set a 7 out of 10. Definitely a nice build, really nice details on the outside, like I mentioned, but not quite as good as some of the other modulars, in my opinion, that I've enjoyed more. So definitely a good set. If you collect the modulars, or even if you just like the looks of this set by itself, it's definitely worth the money. And I would recommend getting it if you want it. If you have any questions about this set or questions about the review, comments about the review, please leave a comment. Like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. I will be doing more Lego reviews in the coming weeks and months.